Welcome to Monster Hunter Rise, a game where you are a mutated superhuman fighting monsters with ridiculous weapons. From a 600-pound hammer over mid-range sticks to literal guns. You can choose whichever playstyle you prefer to exterminate the local wildlife like it's Australia. This part of the Monster Hunter series focuses on one particular real-world culture, and to accommodate that fact, you're going to learn today how to play the longsword. Not in the most efficient way, but the most stylish one. The longsword is about what you would expect from a weeb weapon. It's a katana, and that's it, nothing fancy to it. Well, at least most of them are, but let's dive deeper for a bit. The longsword is a weapon that focuses on beak damage without sacrificing mobility. What this means is that you're going to need an extraordinary mind and focus to balance perfectly between dealing damage, avoiding damage, and tactically receiving it. But more on that later. Your base playstyle is going to be looking for openings in your opponent's attacks and repeatedly hammering your blade into them. Easy enough. And since the actual weapon gameplay is that simple, you can focus on dancing around your opponent's attacks instead. But before we get into that, let's talk about combos first. I'm going to go over the PlayStation controller inputs for this, because fuck you Xbox controller users, you know your opinion is wrong. There are two essential combos in the longsword kit. Your most important combo is going to be triangle, triangle, circle. And don't get me started on how you can do triangle, triangle, triangle now, or I'm going to have your head on a pike of filthy New World casual. The fun part about this combo is that it's an infinite combo, meaning you never have to stop attacking in between, which means less thinking, which means more efficient longsword gameplay. Anyway, this attack loop is what fills your little gauge up there. Once you fill that up, you unlock the fun part of the longsword, the Spirit Blade. The Spirit Blade is your second most important combo, and it's as easy as your most important one. You spam R2 until you execute the full combo, and that's how you win. If you want to make it a little spicier, you can execute the Spirit Blade combo while airborne like a bush warrior, or out of this attack that you achieve by pressing triangle and circle at the same time. Both skip some of the slashes necessary to get the final hit. Now, why care about this, I hear you ask? Let me explain. Once you hit the final hit of the Spirit Blade combo, you will notice your spirit gauge glowing white. This is good, because white means more damage. And that is also why, on some occasions, you are actually willing to trade getting hit for getting the juicy final hit in. You can also achieve this by successfully parrying out of the Yaido stance or hitting a Sakura slash, but more on both of those topics later. Now you're probably asking yourself, can I deal even more damage? And the answer is yes. Yes, you can. All you need to do is swing your Spirit Blade against some monsters like a Machete Warrior and land that final hit again. Notice how it glows yellow now? That is really good. But of course, that is not even its final form. If you go through all of that one more final time, your gauge will start glowing red. And red is really, really good. Once you're at red, that's where the good shit comes into play. A red spirit gauge is like crack, in the sense that all of your attacks become more powerful and you can do some fun shit with it, like parrying or parrying. There's also a Spirit Helmbreaker in there, but it's really not worth your time. Let's go over the two parrying options that you have. Yes, there is two. Don't ask me why, but it's wonderful. So your first one doesn't actually require a full spirit gauge at all. All you need to do is perform an attack and then press R2 and cross at the same time to enter the Yaido stance. This is some of the coolest shit in the game because it enables you to parry most of the moves in the game by hitting the right timing. Right before you get hit, you press the R2 button, drawing your sword like a samurai or a weeb at Comic-Con, and if you hit the timing correctly, avoiding all damage while striking your opponent for free. Speaking of damage numbers, let's talk about the second parry. All you need to do is press L2 and then circle. Then you awkwardly wait for your opponent to strike in your general direction, and that's it. You win. The higher your spirit gauge, the higher your damage, and the greater your knockback. This means, at a red spirit gauge, you can practically always stagger your opponent by pressing 2 buttons at the same time. As long as you have 2 wire bugs. But don't worry about that. Your next important move is Sakura Slash. This one you achieve by pressing L2 and triangle instead. By holding on to a wire bug, you can propel yourself forward, striking your opponent twice and sheathing your weapon as you watch your target get mauled by hundreds of cuts. Yeah, this shit is edgy. Literally. The fun part is, you can combo the Sakura Slash out of your Yaido parry, which makes the entire thing even more fun. In any case, the Sakura Slash actually fills your entire colored bar to the brim, so that's fucking broken. Also, you're probably going to stagger your friends doing any of this, but don't listen to what they say, it's really just a skill issue. Now, let's see what all those things you learned today look like in action. Right, so that's it. That's the entirety of the longsword. Or at least anything remotely interesting. Fight me, Helmbreaker uses. So if you intend on dealing high damage without much effort, and prefer being able to actually dodge attacks, this weapon may be for you. Or if you're a weep, that's also enough. Either one works. If you got any further questions or wish to know how to optimize playing the longsword, feel free to ask your local samurai.